Hi, everybody. It is Hardware here again with the Nuke Dermanoff Clan News Network. We are here on day 6 of the IAE 2953. Glad you could be with us. We are going to go take a look at the daily map here. We have Argo, we have Consolidated Outland, GreyCat, and Kruger. That is who is going to be spread out in the hall, and we do have a new vehicle release today. That is going to be the SRV, which is the space tow truck. I am here sporting my construction equipment if I was to be doing my industrial mining and salvage. All right, it looks like we have a pretty minimal haul, but there's not a whole lot of these out yet. But we will definitely be taking a look at the SRV, which is brand new. The Raft came out, I believe that was last year. Really cool little cargo flyer. And then a lot of these other ones have been out for quite some time. And then we'll run downstairs for the vehicles. And it looks like we have one hollow table, which of course is the Pioneer, which is the new thing right now in a limited hull that is selling in 3 waves. We will come on over here and start off with the MPVs. We have a cargo and personnel carrier, I'm assuming. All right, here is the Argo cargo MPUV, and then this one, I believe, should be the personnel carrier. Yep, MPUV personnel carrier. These are little shuttle get-arounds. Kind of help you do some cargo lifting when you're on a capital ship. If you have purchased the Destroyer Javelin or the Idris capital ship, you will get one of these. Honestly, it's still kind of in the air as far as I can read on which is which, but I believe the Idris has the personnel carrier, which is in front of me, and I think the Javelin has the cargo, or vice versa. The cargo, a little buggy, honestly, to get in because you cannot stand up, so it forces you to crouch. You got some seating in here. Obviously, this is just you're not really supposed to take the Idris, or I don't think you can the Javelin at all, but you're not supposed to take the Idris really planet side unless absolutely necessary for a couple reasons. One, it's not necessary. You have all kinds of spaceships that you can fly out of it to go planet side, so why bother? This being one of them. And then two, obviously, it is very hard getting off of the ground through the atmosphere and up into space. So hard, in fact, that from what I understand, you may even need the SRV, which is over there, that now came out, one or two of them to help tow you out. Otherwise, you're pretty much going to burn a tank of gas just trying to get up into outer space. But anyway, this is your cargo variant, or I'm sorry, your personnel variant. And this is just your kind of space taxi, your shuttle bus to get you from one ship to another if you're on different capital ships, or obviously to go planet side. The Argo cargo, as it's commonly known, was best in ship, I think, a year or two ago. Kind of a joke, but still cool. In here, it should be forcing me to kneel. It looks like I just clear it. You got one passenger seat. Sit back there with the cargo. Otherwise, it's pretty much just the cargo. And you can shuttle up whatever your food needs or your resource needs are up to your capital ship. Or if you're on your capital ship, you can shuttle those down planet side again, so you're not bringing your capital ship into the atmosphere. We'll run on over here, and this is kind of considered a parasite vehicle. It's not really worthwhile having in and of itself. There are small cargo haulers, there are small personnel vehicles, it's not necessary to have this unless you have a large ship. And the destroyer and the Idris both have a special hangar for this. That way, you're not taking up flight space in the middle of the ship or wherever the flight space is on a destroyer. Here we have two subs. One's the Merlin, and one is the Archimedes. The Archimedes is the rich version that comes. The P-72 comes with the Constellation Phoenix. These are the parasite craft that pull right up into the rear of the Constellation series and dock with it. I believe all of them except for the cargo variant. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Taurus, maybe, maybe not. And then this is the Merlin, the P-52. Pretty much the same craft as far as I understand. Looks like you might have a couple, two extra pew-pews on the P-72 over the Merlin. But otherwise, the exact same ship, different skin, and looks like one more cannon. Yep. Not really worth much as far as running missions. Not really worth much trying to do any aggressive attacking. But it is a nice ship to go defend. If someone's attacking your constellation, you can throw one of these out and harass the attacker and try to see if you can get them to leave because they're paying attention to the constellation. This can chew up your shields, chew up your armor. Over time, might get through, but these are just kind of little, again, get-around crafts. If you're in the constellation and you go planet side and you don't want to fly around the planet in the constellation because it's a little bogged down, a little big, you can jump in your parasite ship and do the same thing. It's a little more compact. So there are your two parasite sub ships. Coming in the
What's
back.
up, hardware?
Hi, Gibbles. Welcome. I was just doing the Argo and Pioneer Day here.
Ooh, Pioneer sounds good. When can I have one of those?
That's probably going to be a couple years, buddy, but we're trying.
Couple years? What?
Be getting downstairs here in a minute. The new vehicle, though, coming out. I don't know, Gibbles, do you have the SRV?
Hold on. Let me log into Twitch, see what you're looking at.
The SRV is the tow truck. This is the brand new release. The SRV is kind of old. It is an Argo craft. It looks very industrial-like. It's a little bigger than I kind of imagined, but it is a tow, so it's supposed to help get an Idris from planet side if you were unlucky enough to have to go planet side all the way up into space. I don't know why that's hovering.
No, I don't have that vehicle.
All right. So I think they said this is a size 3 tractor beam. Let's take a look here. All right, it doesn't say on the plaque, but whatever size that is, I think it's a 3, but it's big. It is the biggest in the game thus far. And again, the sole purpose of this is really to move ships around if necessary. The only way you can actually tow a ship is if their shields are down. Your shields have to be down. And they are working on a way, if they haven't already implemented it, to make it so you don't have griefers obviously just pick your shit up and fling it across the planet. The tow truck will attempt to tractor beam a ship. Shields are down. It'll send a message to the ship owner. Hey, hardware is trying to tow you. Is that cool? If you say no, it'll tell me the owner is not allowing it and to cease. If I choose to continue, then I will get a crime stat for I don't know if it's going to be a theft of spaceship or criminal damage to property or trespass, whatever the case may be, but it will be a crime stat to continue to tow when not authorized.
You know what the cost of that is?
Real?
Yeah.
Let me check. Stand by. All right, going to RSI's website. I am looking. Of course, there's never any rhyme or reason to how these ships are listed. Here we go. The SRV War Bond, so that's cash in hand, out the door, 150. SRV, if you're using some store credit and stuff, is 165 US.
Okay.
So honestly, for the only tow vehicle in the game and the largest tractor beam, that's not too bad. I do know the Caterpillar has two tractor beam parts, one on each side, and the Cutlass Black has a tractor beam in the back. The Crusader Spirit C1 has a tractor beam on the back. I think those are all like size ones and twos for cargo, but this is, as it stands right now, the biggest in the game. I'm trying to get up into it, but it looks like it's semi-bugged right now, just being in the hall right here.
I don't know how I would use something like that. So it's, I understand the concept of it, but I don't know.
Well, the concept from it would be people that want to be a space tow truck driver, obviously. And then the other one would be for moving around your stuff. So, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to let me in there. I'm going to have to, I rented it. I'll have to try it up on the land because it's a little buggy here in the hall. But as an example, like I was explaining earlier, if you have your Idris, the Javelin cannot do it. But and I don't know about the Kraken. Yeah, the Kraken has to because it's a mall version as well. But if the Idris goes planet side, even if a Kraken goes planet side, you might burn through almost a whole tank trying to get out of the atmosphere because they're so big and lumbering. It takes a lot to leave planets, not moons per se, obviously, that don't have gravity, but a planet with an atmosphere. It's going to be very taxing and extremely expensive to get out of atmosphere. So you call up Bob. Hey, Bob, why don't you come on over here with your tow truck and pull my ass out of here? You get one or two SRVs. They can tow the Idris out into space with little to no problem at all.
I wonder if they'll have missions to go out and do stuff like that.
I believe for every major gaming mode or item, there will be. So, salvage, there are salvage missions. Mining, there are mining missions. While this is the only tow in the game, I imagine that there is nothing out yet, but I think they will. Or at the very least, if a player sets a beacon and needs a tow or ran out of gas, you can tow them to the next space station. I think these are going to be an undervalued, like the Vulcan, an undervalued ship that people are going to say, hey, I wish I had one of those. And then the people that have them are going to be making some decent cash just because people run out of gas or aren't paying attention, maybe damaged, and you need to be towed to a space station because you lost engines. There's a lot of reasons for it. I don't know as a staple in anyone's org, I think probably somebody should have one. I don't know if we do or not, honestly. But it's a decent vehicle to have. I don't have it though, but it's definitely got some reasons behind it. This one over here is
This,
the, what was that?
I was gonna say I can check to see if they got a Black Friday code offer on it, 50% off.
Oh, yeah, let me know. Now we have the Argo Raft. It 96 SCU for cargo. That's very nice. Three 32 cargo containers. The cool thing about this ship, besides the fact it's honestly just cool as hell on the inside, I actually had gotten one, and then I'm more of a combat than this, so I did not keep it. I kept the spirits for my cargo hauling. But the amazing thing about that is that most ships you have to put the cargo into the ship. And in fact, almost all of them you do. This ship is cool because on the outside and the rear end, set up kind of like the Starfarer, where it has all those gas tanks in the back. These have little claws that literally, if you're, I think they said that the Prospector, the smaller mining vessel, those bags are 32 SCU cargo. So you can have a Prospector that has 6 bags flying around. You fill them up, you land, you dump them on the ground, and they are going to be set up so this thing technically could fly right over it, land. These claws will grab each individual bag separately, bring it up into the ship, attach it to the outside, and transport it. So you can leave your Prospector planet side doing its thing, and you can have a resource shuttle going back and forth, bringing your material. Or you can have the raft, pick your stuff up, fly it over to a refinery, fly it over to a player refinery outpost, or fly it over to a player refinery ship and refine everything on scene, pick them up again, and then fly the refined material up to a space station or a city, keeping both your prospector mining and your refinery ship refining. So if you are going to do a heavy industrial type of gameplay, this, or if they ever make a Big Brother, I think are almost necessary. That way you have one guy just piloting your stuff back and forth, and you have a couple other guys mining and refining, and that way the process never ceases. Let's see if these are bugged. Trying to get in here. The whole day seems a little buggy. I actually had to log out and go back to the menu. There we go. I'm calling the elevator. All right, the elevator comes down, jump up on it. I clicked the top deck on accident right off the bat, so we'll go upstairs and we'll work our way down. All right, you're on the top. You're on the top deck. This is the first room you come into. I'm not entirely sure. This is the engineering deck. I'm assuming these are going to be your components. None of those are opening. Come upstairs into your maintenance. Oh, here's tons of components that are open. So I don't know what the other room is. I don't know if that's aesthetics or if that'll be storage. But here's all your components in this hallway. You got service elevator. I'm sorry, service ladder. which I got too close to and it sucked me in. Here is the, oh, so this is the service deck in the back where you will use the claws and you can see out the back, which is cool. So you can see the pilot coming down, picking them up, and then you'll bring them up, and then either you'll run back up and fly or he'll take off and you can stay here and monitor the cargo. So this is definitely a decent idea for a two-person job, but if you are so inclined or prefer solo play, I'm sure you can run down here. And I don't know what that computer does yet because none of these are functioning until the cargo patch comes in, as far as I know. But maybe you can even fly the ship up and down back here. I'm not 100% sure what this will allow. Yeah, this is just your typical tablet that all of them have for stats on the ship. So I'm assuming this is a placeholder. But they know what they say about assuming. Yeah, so I would imagine that you can do a lot of base functions and maybe even up and down in here instead of the pilot having to do it. But I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Go down the service ladder here. Holy cow, my suit is too beefy. I'll stay in first person mode in here. Here you got some storage, several. Your weapons rack. Poop closet and shower. Looks like the sink pulls out too, but it's already out. Sometimes these ships are so glitchy in these halls.
They try to compact everything into a small area. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
am I flying a phone booth or
What was that?
am I flying a phone booth?
All right. All right, looks like we got some lockers. This is the habitation wing. This is why I like the ship. It's actually kind of a cool little space that you wouldn't otherwise assume would be in a little cargo hauler like this, but they did a really good job. You got a couple bunks, so again, you're looking at a pilot and then the person working the cargo. It's kind of a two-man job. You got your kitchenette in the back here, and then your seating for everyone to eat. These two lockers are straight inventory lockers. Click on this. We come down here to, looks like another elevator. This is your airlock. And then your bridge. And it looks like you also have your pilot and your co-pilot that can run the cargo. He can sit up here with you while you're just flying and then go upstairs to do some work. Come on back down and relax and work your shields. But this is your cargo craft. I love it. I honestly do. I don't have it, but I do like it a lot. All right, so that is your Argo raft. That is your cargo hauler. Looks construction-y, looks industrially. We got your SRV. We'll come over here to the mole. Not a huge fan of the mole per se. I'm assuming, I guess it has a pretty good use to it. It's definitely a cool looking ship. I think, honestly, you need like 3 or 4 people for this thing to operate efficiently and effectively. And you could have 3 or 4 moles doing the same amount of work all separately. And I just feel you probably get more out of having 3 or 4 prospectors working, independently but on the same planet. I think you get more out of that than one ship being flown, and then you have to use, 2 or 3 people on the mining lasers and one guy not doing anything but flying. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is, and this is the mole. I think Wolf had the mole for a while, but I think he traded it. Looks like storage.
That's the mining ship, right?
Yep. This is the multiplayer mining ship. All right, so this is one mining arm. Looks like a seat. It'll move you up all the way up to the pedals. You can do your magic. On the other side, it'll be the same. Looks like we got some components and some monitors telling you what's going on. Thought I just saw a ladder here. Yep. There is your service ladder. In case your power goes out or your elevator goes down, you're supposed to have one of those. Here is your kitchen area. Got some more components. This ship's been out for a minute, so I don't even know if he's open. Yeah, so this is not even close to the gold standard. There's no component access yet, but there will be. Looks like we got some storage. We got some storage. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 bunks. Your toilet shower, always handy to have. And I guess that's it. The rest of the ship is probably mechanical as far as the arms and lasers are concerned. Oh, here we go. This didn't open before. Here is your... I'm guessing this will take you back to the cargo area. No, that's the bridge. Oh, that's your Wiener laser. Should be right under the bridge. I guess you don't get to go see the cargo area. So there you have it. You have your pilot. You have your under laser. You have your 2-arm lasers. I do not know what size those are. I'm guessing a 3. There is going to be another miner coming out. I don't remember by who. I think it was RSI, they said. That is going to be a large mining. So the prospector is small. The mole is medium. There is about to be an RSI large, and then obviously the Orion is the capital class. I think the Orion is going to be absurdly huge. I can't wait. All right, so there are some of your construction ships, cargo and mining. Run over here to Zenith Hall 2 and 3. I believe these are the open ones. Looks like we got Zenith Hall 2 open. We can double check the map here. Yep, it's just this hall and then downstairs. So these are your Mustangs. These are starter ships. You got two over there. In the middle is your Nomad. Take a look here. I don't know that much about the Mustangs at all. Not really worth much in my opinion. But if you only want to spend about 40 bucks just to get the game and get in and fly, make a couple bucks, and buy your ships in game, this is, I believe, the cheapest avenue.
The Mustang is what I got for my starter ship back when I first got the game 30 years ago.
Right? All right, this is the Mustang Gamma. The Gamma is your racer, so this is your speed ship. I mean, they're actually kind of cool looking, in all honesty, but they just not much to them.
Well, there was only one option. That's the only ship they had for a starter ship back then. And then they brought in the other one. What's the other one called? Starter ship.
Aurora?
Aurora, yes. And then I tested the Aurora out a couple times, and I'm like, I just do not like this ship for whatever reason.
It was good because you could log, well, technically, you could log out in it because it has a bed. Here's your Mustang Beta. That is a Pathfinder, so this is going to be your forward scanner, checking things out. Looks like you still got some pew-pews. You got only the wing pew-pews on the Gamma. You got some chin pew-pews on the Beta. Nothing on the wings. I don't know where the scanner equipment would be. Unless it's on top. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll cross over the Nomad here. This is a relatively new ship, I think within the last year or so. Starter ship. It's kind of like your space pickup with some alien tech. This is your Mustang Alpha. I believe this is the starter ship. Light freight.
Although mine's not orange. I don't know where the orange came from.
That's the Pathfinder. You have the Alpha, I'm pretty sure, or the Delta had. That's the cargo and the fighter. So this is your cargo version, the Alpha. You got a couple pew-pews on the chin. And in the back here, you can load a few SCU of cargo. Again, if you're doing starter missions, this is a decent, go pick up a couple boxes and do some delivery missions and start making some cash. And if you run across any bad guys, at least you have some guns to fend them off a little bit.
Some of the illegal outposts that you need to run in and get illegal drugs or illegal stuff to transfer them to places. You want a small ship because there's no area to land these big ships. And by the time you land a big ship, which is slow to get on the ground, get off it, go into the thing, get your box, get back on the ship, take off. You're talking a good 5 minutes or more. These small ships, you can get on the ground quick, get out, get in, take off.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Definitely a use.
I know that from experience from doing illegal stuff way back when and getting killed because by the time I got off my ship, got in the place, and by the time I got to my ship, there was already other people down and killed me on the way back in.
You want some death sticks? All right.
I also wasn't prepared for that either, so I was like, "What the hell, man? That guy killed me!" And of course, I'm out in pirate zone where there's no security and no what do they call that zone
Oh, the
non
green zone?
attack. What?
Your green zone where it's not attacked?
Yes, and it's like it's open world, so anything can happen.
That is true. Anything and everything can happen. This is your Mustang Delta. That is your light fighter. As you can see here, you've had a ship over there, the Racer, that had some guns on the wings. Your Pathfinder and your Cargo had some chin cannons. Your light fighter has the chin cannons and laser, and it looks like a little Hellfire missile system as well. So this is your pew pew and attack version of the Mustang Delta. Kind of a cool skin, really. And then we have the Nomad. So the Nomad is alien technology. I believe it's partially Xi'an. And it does not land per se. It uses Gravlev technology to kind of hover. So when you're landing, you will have, I believe, even some Gravlev stairs that come out. But the ship does not actually touch ground. It just kind of hovers above it. This is your light freight. Again, this is kind of a space pickup. This is now a starter ship, although I think it's an elite starter ship. It costs a little bit more than the others. Everything alien costs more. There's an alien tax on alien ships that kind of conforms with the lore of the game. You can see you got some missiles here. Got some pew pews on the chin. In the back here where this guy is standing, I don't know how an NPC got up there. That is where your cargo goes. It is an open cargo pickup. I believe you can even get a hover bike in there, I think is why that was made to fit. All right, you come in very line bendy. I'm not an architect or art person, so I don't know how to explain it, but the sharp edges definitely make this look really cool. You got a little bit of a viewport out the rear end to see your cargo. It's completely useless as far as I'm concerned, but still, it's cool to have these little windows to look out into space or to see your stuff. There's your can. That's just a pooper, but it's nice to have that. You got, looks like, some personal storage to put some items. And you got your bed, some reading material should you need it.
AFK, man.
Yep. You got your kitchenette. All of this, again, will be usable. All this stuff will have, you can store food and drinks and cook and do all that happy stuff. And there's your pilot seat. Kind of sharp looking HOTUS looking setup, which is what I use. So this is your Nomad. It is a starter ship. It's an elite starter ship. It's one of the more expensive ones. Guess I was wrong. It does not have Gravlev stairs. It just has a cool, funky ladder to it. But that is your Consolidated Outland space pickup. We will run out front here and go downstairs. Downstairs we'll have some vehicles. I'm guessing we'll have some rocks and might even have the quad. In fact, I'm pretty positive we'll have a quad down there. And then the Big Daddy himself, which has now become a hot item to get after the city patch, which we will talk about here in a minute once we go see Mr. Pioneer. Here are the stairs. We're going down. All right, we are downstairs. We have, that is a misspelling. That is not the Rock DC. Although, hey, they can name it after us if they want. That is called the Rock DS. That is a six-wheel version of the smaller, just rock mining vehicle. I had a DS. I traded it. It only holds, I think, double what the regular rock does, but this is a two-person gig. I mean, you could technically get out of the seat and go jump into this seat and mine, but it's a two-person operation, and the arm is not enclosed. So if you're on a hot planet, you're on a cold planet, you're on a noxious planet, your suit and your systems and your life span time will start ticking. You're not inside of a vehicle or inside of a ship. So really, I don't know. The nice thing about the arm, though, I will say, is that this is very versatile. The arm extends, and then when you're sitting in the chair, you can rock almost straight up. This is a good cave type of apparatus where you can be shooting the ceiling and getting the stuff off of the top of the caves. But the cons to me especially are the lack of atmosphere protection for the outside chair. It is a six-wheeled, larger version of the Rock, so you're minimizing what vehicles can actually deploy it. I don't know. I did like it. I did trade it, though. Probably just go with a standard Rock. I might buy one in game. The Rock is the same thing, but you can sit in the driver's seat and you use the mining laser yourself. There is no external seat, and you hold minimal amounts of cargo in the back. But these are your ground mobile mining platforms. Over here we have
I own them
slowly-
both.
Oh, do you have both?
Yep.
Okay.
Says if you find a nice planet that's actually working well and you're actually finding a lot of good mines, you can get on the dual seater and take it out yourself because it holds almost twice as much or more cargo.
Yeah, that's definitely the pro. All right, next to it, we have GreyCat's, commonly referred to as Steve, or STV. This has zero utility whatsoever. This is your space Jeep. You hop in it and you go for a ride. Again, like the Cyclone, I do not understand why they do not have shielded protection on the inside for hostile planets. At the very least, like a real Jeep, allow it to be taken off, take the doors off, take the roof off if you're on a Earth-like planet to mess around in. But you, again, are exposed and have a limited lifespan if you're not in a specialized suit. Cool thing about it is, though, is this. The back pops up like a trunk, and you have inventory just like you would in a car. And your component it won't let me hit it because it wants me to rent. But if you can see those light buttons on the left of the grill area there, you hit that, and this opens up like a car would, and it's a electric vehicle. It's got its battery in there you can pull out. I love this thing, honestly. It's cool. It's very compact. When we build our cities, we're going to have tons of these, I would imagine, just to go from one place to another, just as a get around. The cyclones are nice. They're just bigger. The other one that we'll be using a lot of within our cities would be the golf cart. This is also used for the Mario Karts. This is the PTV. There is a race track on Orison where you do an internal track. And that internal track, these are what you race. And I don't even know if you can upgrade them yet. I think eventually they'll allow you to kind of beef them up a tad, but as it stands, one PTV is the same as the other. And then you just kind of race around in them like Mario Kart. They're neat. I think I actually have two of them. I think they're like $10, $15, something like that. But those are your ground vehicles. I'm assuming the hover quad's over here. And it is. This is your companion vehicle for the Nomad, so it is official. This you can park in the back of the Nomad, and it should semi-parasite to it. The Nomad is small. I don't see a need. The Nomad you're using for cargo. If I want to putz around on a planet, I'll putz around in the Nomad. I don't know why I would want to pull a bike, but it doesn't matter because it can if you wanted to. But this is your Xi'an human crossbreed of a hover bike. I had one, I got rid of it. I have Rangers and I have a Nox and I have a Dragonfly. I just did not see a need. I will 100% buy one in game. I'm kind of a collector, so
What is that bike?
it's the hover quad,
Oh, I
Consolidated
got some.
Outland. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a lot of those.
yeah, they're definitely good LTI tokens, that's for sure. All right, now to wrap up Industrial Day, we're going to Big Daddy himself, the Pioneer. All right, so the Pioneer has A, grown substantially, and B, changed its core value substantially as far as do you want to buy this to now? And what I mean by that is this. It used to be you couldn't build anything unless you had a Pioneer, which is why we have Gibbles and Bear have one, and I'm like, well, in case Gibbles and Bear ever don't like me or I want to build my own shit, I need one for myself. So I got one so I can work and make sure that the organization can build its cities and have access to building at any time without having to worry. Since that time frame, it became it's not going to be the only way you can build. You can order prefab stuff and it can slowly be delivered to where you're going to build at. But that takes time. It costs more money because you're importing all of these prefab walls, so to speak, and roofs. So it's good to have a Pioneer to build on site quickly, easily, with your own resources. So, for all intents and purposes, you're buying probably a schematic, you're buying whatever mining and salvaging equipment you're using to get the materials. But once you have your operation going, it's pretty much a freebie after that. It has now, since this last, what do we just have, CitizenCon, it has now escalated to the point of we have all kinds of ways to build and all varying sizes and degrees. To break that down semi quickly, to get back to the Pioneer itself, you're going to have something in the area of a Bearcat, not a Bearcat, I'm thinking my SWAT truck. We have Bobcat. You can use a Bobcat to build small buildings and structures and habitats. Then there will be those of you that know what the Atlas platform is. That is your Ballista, your Spartan, your Centurion. Those are all Atlas platforms. They showed an unnamed vehicle of the same size and orientation. That will be a wheeled vehicle to do construction upwards of medium size. So if you own this Atlas platform crane, you can build small and you can build medium. Then they hit what?
I was just going to jump in there. Something I'm hoping they do with this Pioneer is that, for instance, you talked about them being able to buy individual parts and boxes to be transported for a fee and stuff. I'm hoping with a Pioneer, you'll be able to use blueprints to download some of those schematics and upgrade them with higher quality parts to make your buildings stronger, more defensive wise, things like that.
I absolutely agree, and I think that is an intent that you'll be able to do as well,
At least I'm hoping something like that.
right? All right, so we go from the Bobcat to the crane type, then you go up to the Galaxy. The Galaxy ship was released, I think, last summer or thereabouts, and it had a cargo, it had a medical, and a refinery module. Now it will have, it has not been sold yet. Maybe on RSI Day they'll pop out with it, but they will have a construction module to go in the RSI Galaxy. And that construction module will be able to build small, medium, and large structures for your cities. So you just want a small cabin by a lake, you can buy the Bobcat size. You want a nice semi-mansion by the lake, you can go pick the Atlas platform and build it that way. You want to start building, a small neighborhood or something to that effect, you can get the Galaxy, and then you want to round off starting to build cities with mini skyscrapers and giant buildings and stuff to that effect. This is where the Pioneer now comes in. Now, by the time this gets released, who knows what it'll turn into. But as of now, the Pioneer builds the extra large buildings. And I would equate that to something of the effect of skyscrapers, sports domes, things of that nature for a city.
I can also see this being used as military buildings, things like that, that you can't buy at a store or have delivered and things like that.
Yes, the Pioneer will have access to specialty schematics. So if you have a Galaxy, well, most of those specialty schematics will be the extra large buildings anyway, but you can have the other three apparatus, or by the time of release, there could be 10, but you can have the other things to build, but you'll need a Pioneer for something special. So if you don't own a Pioneer, you'll be able to go to people that own a Pioneer and say, I want this football stadium built in my city, and then they'll fly out there with their specialty football stadium schematic and build one on site for you. You can go ahead and build a house. You can go ahead and build a big house. You might even be able to build a shop. But to build some of these extra special stuff, that's what the Pioneer will be primarily for. And on top of building per se, the Pioneer is gigantic in size and it is configurable, so it is also to be used as a mobile base. There is a landing pad, although I believe it's only small in ship size, but there is a landing pad, I believe, on the right side of the ship if you're looking down the nose. And once the ship front end expands and the thrusters land and the feet are planted in the ground and the top moves to the side, this landing platform either comes up out of the body or comes out of the side, however it works. But there is a landing platform, so you can use these as mobile bases, not just construction. So if you want some of the same amenities that you might get out of buildings, but you only want temporary, you can fly one of these things out and set it up as a base of operations, do your mining, do your whatever, exploration, and then pack everything up and skedaddle. So that is the somewhat secondary use for the Pioneer. And they definitely don't have this very detailed in its holodeck, but I have one, Gibbles has one, Bear has one. I am definitely looking forward to working the hell out of this ship. All right. Well, that is Consolidated Outland and Others day 6 of IAE 2953. We're glad you could hang out with us. And tomorrow, day 7, I'm going to go double check right now what day 7 has in store for us on Turkey Day.
That would be today.
Not as of this broadcast.
Oh. We cooked our turkey yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, well, today you got the parade that we're watching, and then you got football, and you don't want to be cooking in the kitchen while all that stuff's going on.
True. All
You
right.
cook it a day early because most families, they'll have turkey for 2-3 days to eat. So cook it a day early, and you don't have to worry about cooking it, and you relax and watch stuff.
Very true. For Thanksgiving, in the Apex Hall, we will have Anvil Aerospace. So Anvil will be 10 o'clock a.m. CST on Turkey Day. And then Argo, Consolidated Outland, GreyCat, and Kruger will have its final day on Turkey Day as well. And then the day after Turkey Day is Misk and Mirai. Mirai is the specialty upgrade version of Misk Company. And after that, we'll have RSI. And that will round out the companies for building the ships. After, on the 26th, I should say, we will have Best in Show, where they have the winners of this year's voting for best ships. And those ship owners, which we'll talk about them when they pop up, but we'll get their own special skins for this year. The skins are always thematic to the coloring, so they will be purple and something, which is great because one of the winners was the 600, which I own, so we can have DC colors on my 600. After that, for 3 days, you got the finale. Oh, also in the Best in Show is when they bring out the weapons and armor downstairs, so it'll list everything weapons-wise that there is, everything armor-wise, or a lot of special armor you can rent and buy and check them all out and see what you like. And then the last 3 days, the finale, that is your time to go to a kiosk, either in this hall or I believe outside of it as well. Double check that. But everything that you've seen in person that you could click the ship to rent, you'll be able to rent off of a kiosk, and then it gives you 3 days to wrap that up, with everything ending on the 30th. So there we are. We are on